Hello and welcome back to the railway. I've done a little more work on the old track plan. You can see I've indicated the suspension bridge now, and these red crosses indicate unique pieces of track which I've made myself. So that's a double isolating track. It isolates both rails rather than just the one. And I've got a cut piece here and so on. We'll have a look at some of these pieces a little later on, and I'll leave a screenshot of the whole track plan towards the end of the video. Now I have put in some station lamps or yard lamps down the side of these sidings here, just 4 of them, but they're in fairly poor condition and they were missing the lamp caps. Let's just have a look at this instruction sheet here. So a little plastic cap which goes on the top of the lamp is missing on the set I've had here. So I've just come up with a way, after the LED conversion, which I did in an earlier video, which I'll leave a link to, I've just used blue tack really, just over the end of the lamp there, and then coloured it in with black marker pen. So I'll just show you how I've gone about that. After I've prepared the LED, which you can see in the other video, which I'll leave a link to, we're just going to slot that in. So I'll just use a screwdriver just to push that into place to make sure it makes a very good contact. Nice and firmly in there. Now we can see the foot makes contact with the housing, and the positive comes off down here and down the shaft. So just to finish the top off, all I've done is use some blue tack, and I'll just put it in the top here, and I've just moulded it around with my fingers until it looks about right. That one needs just a little bit more on. There we go. I've just moulded that with the fingers until it sort of looks pretty convincing. Perhaps I should take a little more care of it than I did with the others. They are sort of quite homespun looking, these. And then I've just coloured them in with the old black marker. You can see how that's going to work, or you could use black paint. But I just had this black marker to hand and it seems to do the trick quite nicely. A little bit on the lamp there, I can wipe that off. So I did another 3 of these. You can see that's going to look pretty good at arm's length. So we'll just connect this up. So we'll put the old positive onto the brown one in this instance, and when I've finished wiring the rest of it up, the shaft will be the negative feed. You can see that works really nicely. And then we'll just have a swift look at the layout in the dark here, and we can see how they fit in there on the top right corner of shot there. You can see that yard's really beautifully lit up now. I'm quite pleased with the effect. We'll just get in a little closer. See those coloured light signals there on the right lighting up quite nicely. I think it's a really nice effect. And now just a swift look at them with a little more light on. I'm quite pleased with that. I'm sure there are other ways of doing this, but this just seemed like a very simple, cost-effective and quick way to get these lamps up and running and on the layout. There we go, there's another one. And again, slightly different shape if you look really closely. And finally, there's the other one down there. As I say, I'm quite pleased with those. And we'll just bring this EM2 across the suspension bridge there with those fantastic car carriers there, and then we'll just take her out of frame to a gentle stop. So there is one of those cut pieces or unique pieces to this layout that I've just cut from a piece of straight Super 4 track there to make up the distance between where the track length's finished there, and I needed a section to go in there. The quarter section didn't do it. So if we just have a look at the old track plan there, we can see that indicated there. So that's the suspension bridge. I couldn't find a symbol for the suspension bridge, so I just made that one up. And there's another one I've indicated over here, Now, to be honest, when I look at the layout now, I can't understand why I've cut a piece like that and then used a quarter straight. Well, I don't understand why I didn't just cut a piece to fill the whole gap. But there is that section there. Again, I think if I was doing that now, I'd just cut a piece which goes from there to there. That's just shorter than a standard straight, isn't it? Just going quickly back to the old layout plan here. This is what I call a passing loop. It can be accessed from both the inside and the outside line actually. So it comes in here at what I call points number 4 and runs all the way around. There's a number of isolating tracks right the way around. That's a double one there. We'll have a look at that one in a moment, but let's just look at this one along here on the little spur on the end here where I could just leave a locomotive sitting if I wanted to. So Trying Hornby didn't make a double isolating track, so I've just adapted a straight track and put a cut in both rails and soldered it up. So if we just move along the old Fine Scotsman here, and the teak coaches alongside the suspension bridge, it's a little bit wobbly. And I've got the tray decoupler in here, so we'll just pull these coaches back, and it's isolating track 4E, and I've got a little micro switch to operate that. So it isolates both sides at the same time. You can just see the old cables and the solder in there running through the baseboard. And there's the isolating track 4D there, that's one of the standard Trying Hornby isolating tracks there. So that's just operated off one of the green lever frame switches. We'll just have a look at that position on the old layout plan there. And that's just there. So we could hold something between there and there, and that isolates both rails there. We'll just have a swift look at that one. Just quickly move around. Sorry again, it's a little bit wobbly. Those wonderful Minix cars there. And there we can see the rail there, and I've just cut both rails again. I'll just point to it. So you can see it's 4C. Again, I've got a micro switch to control this, and you can see they've got a cut in the rail there, cut in the rail there, and you can see the cabling coming through the baseboard there. It's not that neat and tidy really, but it does the job. So just moving along around this passing loop here, you can see we've got another standard isolating track here. So if I just move down, we can just have a look at that one there. And again, that one's controlled by the old green lever frame switch. And moving along past the old Pullman here, running down towards points number 4. As we get towards the coloured light signals, we've got another one here. This one's 4A, again on the green lever frame switch. There's the coloured light signals, and then we've got what I call points number 4. We'll just leave the isolating tracks alone for a moment. So we'll just have a look at points number 8 here, where I can move from the outside line to the inside line there. Now these 2 points throw as a pair. So if I just put the old layout plan down for a moment, and there we have points number 8 there. So this is the outside line and this is the inside line. So I'll just throw those, just excuse a pause for a moment while I reach for the switch. Should be a nice positive throw. Nice reassuring click there. And then we'll just reach for the old controller and we'll give the EM2 a little power. And there she goes. A little bit of a stutter. And they're quite well behaved through there. Oh, we'll just bring them to a stop just there. And then we'll switch those points back again. So there, I've just brought the EM2 from the outside line through points number 8 onto the inside line, and we've got the end of the wagons just around about here at the moment. So I'm going to back them up past the station, or alongside the station should I say, and past points number 9 here. Again, these will throw as a pair, and then we'll take them through this diamond crossing and onto the passing loop there. So we'll just put the old plan down, and there we've got the old points. And then we've got the end of the wagon there, so I'll just back that wagon up, or set of wagons up first. So just excuse me again while I reach for the controller. nice gentle stop there, and then we'll switch number 9. Yeah, nice positive throw with those pair. All of these points are powered through the CDU unit, so we get a nice positive throw each time, otherwise they just hum and click and they tend to bounce around. Now we'll just give that a little power and bring her forward, back through there, onto the passing loop. It's looking pretty good. And we'll bring it to a gentle stop about there. So it is very noisy when I'm running the trains and trying to talk at the same time. Normally I record the voice separately. So we'll just switch number 9 now. There we go. So they're very useful sets of points. And if we just look at the old layout plan again, just a bit beyond there, out of camera view at the moment, I've got the reverse as well. So I've got points number 10, which I can complete the operation in reverse there. And then I've got points number 5, which come from the outside line into the passing loop there. Time for a bit of a charge around with the old Flying Scotsman, I think now. Look at that, effortless, storming down the incline, gathering loads of speed there along the straight. Now under the elevated section and around down past the station, across the points and the diamond crossings. That is the bumpiest bit of the track there. You can hear it clanging around and into the 3rd radius curve, and right up the incline there. No hesitation at all. That magnesium on the Flying Scotsman there, really giving it that extra advantage. And across the old suspension bridge. Now I suppose I should back off the power just a little here. We don't want it to leave the rails. And again, just gathering a little speed there. And then I think we're probably going to just bring it to a gentle stop just in the corner, left-hand corner there. So there always comes a time when you've got to take some coaches off or locomotives and get something else out. So we'll just use the old decoupler here, and we'll take these coaches off, and then we'll get the old Flying Scotsman over to the engine shed. So it'll be time to get a different model out or play with something else. So here we go. This is probably one of the easier places to take the coaches off. On the incline works quite well, but they tend to roll away when you uncouple them. So we'll just lift those out there. There we go. And we'll just have that one out of there too. This set of T coaches don't have any boxes, so I tend to keep unboxed things just in a small amount of bubble wrap, and we'll just store them in cardboard boxes with items of a similar shape. So we'll just wrap that one up with a bit of fold, and then we'll put those away in a box. We'll play with them another day. We'll just get a glimpse of the old glowing firebox as she moves away there, storming around past the station. Now we're approaching points number 8, and we'll get her onto the inside line. Nice and smoothly, and we'll switch those and off round towards points number 18, so we can get her back across the turntable and into the engine shed. Nice stop there, and switch the points, and then back in we go, smoothly across the turntable to a gentle stop. Just another quick look at the layout plan here. Well, we've got 3 pieces of cut track here on the outlets from the turntable. So we've got the 2 curved pieces so we can keep everything parallel, which really does save space on the layout. And the curved pieces were just cut from one of these standard 2nd radius curves here, and that's our 486. And then we just got the straight piece in here, just so we can get the best use out of the siding here and get it far enough back and get some extra length in it. We'll just have a quick look at how that looks on the layout. So there is one of the curved pieces, You can see that's enabled me to keep all of the tracks running into the engine shed and all along the side parallel. And there's the curved piece over here. And there's the little straight piece there, which has just helped push everything back a little bit and more importantly, get that point off the joint in the baseboard there, which I think is quite important. So it would take up a great deal of space on the layout, having the outlets just coming out at those angles there. So we'll just have a look at that. As I say, turntables take up an awful lot of space on the layout. And I think I've managed to fit that lot in quite nicely. I'm quite pleased with that. We'll just close points 18 there that lead up to the turntable, and then we'll open number 11, which runs into the station, and switch 12, so we can get out the Bobo electric. Nice smooth start there, and she's got some Mark 1 coaches with dark rooms on there today, smoothly through the points, and we'll close those up behind her. Now the layout does measure 10 feet by 5 feet, which is approximately 3 meters by 1.5 meters. Smoothly around that first radius curve and along the station, and then we'll bring her gently to a stop. I've got a slightly different version of the layout plan here. Now I've indicated the two different circuits, and they're fed separately, but they can be fed together, so it makes the crossover much smoother, especially when you're making the videos. So on the inside line, which is coloured blue, I've got one power supply there and another one there, and then on the outside circuit, which is coloured in red, I do have 3 power feeds, but I've only got 2 R487 clips on it. So I've got one there and one there, but the supply I've indicated here with a power clip symbol, but that is soldered on because I couldn't fit that in with the sidewalls on the elevated section. And here's the feed on the elevated section, which I have just soldered in, so it comes through the baseboard and up the inside of the elevated pier there. But because the piers are very near the track joints, I've bared the wires back so they're sort of more track coloured, and then put the solder joint just that little bit further back. I've done the same on the other side. Again, probably could be a tiny bit neater than that. So here's the old R487 power connecting clip. I believe one of these was included in every electric train set. After the Super 4 track became available, you can see that just clips into the rail there through the gap between the sleeper bed and the bottom of the rail there. We'll just pull that out. It can also be used with the old Series 3 track and standard track, I believe. And I think that has a TV suppressor in there, and you just put the cables in there and see the contact at the bottom. It's a very basic but effective thing. Of course you could just solder onto the track, but it's probably quite complicated if you're just getting your first train set. And there on the bottom we've got Triang's name and the catalogue number 487 and made in England. So we'll just switch points number 4 there, and we'll bring out the old diesel Pullman for a little bit of a run. Very smooth through those points, isn't she? Now she's in the grey livery with the yellow ends. We'll switch those behind her. Off around the layout, coming down past the station. A little bit bumpy, a little bit hesitant over those diamond crossings. Nice and smooth on the rest of the track though. So coming off the turntable, I've employed another isolating track on the central outlet there, so we can hold something stationary in the engine shed there whilst we use the turntable for other things. And then on this outlet here where we've got the red LMS Ginty, I've got another one here. So these are R497. They're available from 62 through to 71. When I put this track down, I didn't have enough isolating tracks for the whole track, so I did end up having to make some. So on these 3 lines which run into the station here, when I put the layout down, I had a good idea of putting an isolating track on each of these, so I could run a train in and then take the coaches out again from the other end. But strange, I've hardly ever used them. It's probably because they're just simply not long enough to make that happen. I think I need another ½ metre in length for that to be realistic, so I'll just slide this one away. You can see down there I've got another homemade one there. As I say, I didn't have the genuine tracks when I put this layout down, but I do have some now. But through laziness or perhaps fear of upsetting things at work, I haven't gone ahead and put them in. So here's another one there, just sitting under the old blue and grey coach. And if we just look behind there, just under the old maroon coach there, I've got another one sitting there. So ideally, I think another ½ metre on these sidings, if only I had the space. So you could drive an engine in, bring it to a stop, make use of an uncoupling ramp as well, and then bring an engine in from the other end and take them away. But you always have these ideas for things which require too much space. Just time to catch up with the old diesel Pullman again, just coming out of the third radius curve, coming up the incline. Terrific shot from above there, looking down on those sidings with those new lamps in. I really like those lamps. Coming onto the suspension bridge now, just listen to the sound of those wheels. It really is a distinctive sound. Now dropping down the incline again, picking up a little speed there, into that long straight and past the coloured light signal again. A little bit of a wobble on one of those coaches there, isn't there? Run up towards the station by the Bobo Electric there, and I think we'll bring her to a gentle stop. As I said earlier, I've got replacements now for the isolating tracks on the railway, just to replace the homemade ones that I've got there, not the double ones, of course. So we'll just put these down. We'll just have a look at this one, and we'll then have a look at the layout plan again. So it's a very basic thing. It is just one of the standard straights, and we've got a break in the rail there, and we've got these two pin connectors here. We've just got two plates which clip to the rail, we can just see there. So let me just remove these pin connectors, and we'll just put the cable to one side and have a look. And we just got those plates there which just connect directly to the pin, so you could control that with a lever frame switch, or just leave it as a break in the rail to control a section of track. So I'll just pop that down, and then we'll just have a look at the track plan. So this has taken me more time than I'd thought to put this together, because what I was really after is the track plan symbols available in the track plan book here. But this early Trying Hornby one, they never produced track plans for third radius track, so there was no symbol. So I was always got stuck here. Dave Angel suggested that I use a late Trying Hornby track plan book with track plans that could be used on either Super 4 or the new System 6. So he found me this great track plan book from the early 70s, 71 I think. We'll just put this old Trying Hornby one to one side, and this is the catalogue from 71, and it indicates here that they've got this track plan book available, our 6166 track plans book, 32-page guide. So it's a really great guide. So we'll just put this old 1971 catalogue down. It's a great thing. Those model kits on the back there. Lovely cover. Look at that, 12p. We'll just pop that down there, and then we'll just have a look at this. So here we've got the symbols I was short of. So you can see we've got third, second and first radius represented there. So I was really pleased to get that. So Dave Angel, really good advice there. You should have a look at his website, it's really excellent. I'll leave a link in the description box. And if you look back again next week, we'll have something else from the Trying Hornby period. Goodbye now.